What's up everyone? Welcome to today's video. Now in today's video we're continuing the gaming PC that I'm building. I'm using new parts, I'm using some of my old parts. It's just shotting everything together, and hopefully basically the older parts that are just going to be collecting dust in the cupboard are now, hopefully when I sell them on, they're going to be getting a new lease of life and they're going to be used by someone else. So before I start, if you like this video, if you want to see more of these videos, more of this content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. But if you don't like my content, don't just click X. Give me a thumbs down. Let me know where I went wrong in the comment section below, and hopefully I'll take on some of your criticisms on board and I'll improve my content for you. So basically, two things today. Well, three actually. The first one's to get the system more or less complete. Second, I've got a aftermarket cooler for the CPU, which I'll speak about in a moment. And I've also got a copy of Windows 10 Home. This is a USB stick, so I'll speak about that again. And I'll probably do a little short step-by-step on how to install Windows 10. Now, cooling. Even though I'm not going to overclock the CPU, the option is still there to overclock in the future. Now, what I've done is I'm going to ditch the stock cooler. I'm going to put in this aftermarket cooler because the simple reason is even the smallest of upgrades on cooling is worth it, especially during the summer months like now. I mean, in Britain where I live, northeast of England, we had some of the hottest days we've ever had. But next week it will probably be snowing. So for them days which are hot, basically I've just gone for the cheapest one on Amazon. It's had good reviews, so we'll wait and see how well it does. But on the back it has a quick graph, and it basically says on an i7 4770 that was overclocked, it dropped the temperature by 20 Celsius. So yeah, it comes with a 6 years warranty, so which is pretty fantastic. There's not much that can really go wrong with a heatsink apart from the fan itself. So yeah, but like I say, £20 on Amazon. If you're running a stock cooler on an older computer, say, I recommend having a look in an aftermarket heatsink. So that's first job today, heatsink fitted. The second job today, after tidying up the cables and using some tie wraps and twist ties and things like that, sort out the cable management. Once I get all the system together, time for Windows 10. Now, this box is pretty cool actually. Basically, they must have had an off day on Amazon because the USB stick was cheaper than the disc. So yeah, nice presentation box, and the USB stick, it's just in there. I wonder if they got someone from Apple to do the packaging, because that's pretty sleek. So that's all the jobs I want to be done today. I want to get the system up and running, I want to get Windows 10 installed, and I want to obviously get the drivers installed for the motherboard. I've got drivers for the GPU to be installed. So yeah, and obviously we'll get all that done today, and in the future I'll do a video where we're going to benchmark this beast. Not much of a beast now, but you know, back a year ago this would have been a pretty cool setup. But I'm going to move the camera about now and we're going to fit this CPU cooler. See you in a minute. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to remove the stock Intel cooler. Just a few twists of the screws with the flathead screwdriver. I'm going to unplug the fan connector. It should lift out. There we have it, one stock cooler. I'll put that to one side. Now the next thing that's important is to remove the previous paste. You're going to use at least 70% IPA alcohol, which I've got very handy here on some swabs. Okay, so next we're going to install the mounting bracket. It's basically just slots into place. Now what I have got is the two mounts here, the two little screws. Basically that's where the airflow is going to be coming across. So I've got the rear fan as an intake fan, and then I'm going to have the fan straight away here, so it's blowing air from outside the case onto the CPU cooler, so it's nice cool air, and then obviously the two fans at the top will be extracting the heat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put in these locking pins. And the last locking pin is in there. So, a quick wiggle, make sure it's seated correctly, it's in solid. Now this cooler does not have a backing plate, it just relies totally on this plastic bracket, which feels pretty sturdy, pretty solid. And now what we're going to be doing is you have two little screws. We'll now mount the heatsink and screw it into place. Okay, so with the two screws in place now, a little bit of a wiggle, feels solid. Feels like quite a good fitting for just two bolts actually. Now I'm going to take the fan, take a little twist tie off the cable. What I'll do is I'll try and get my rather large hands down the back to plug the fan in. Might have to be a left hand job this. So after a few swear words, we've got the cable for the fan in. What I'm going to do now is just clip the fan into place. Clip into place, and then just work the cable round so it's out of sight. Give things a bit of a pull, tug. Seems like we've got a CPU cooler fitted. Okay, so I've got the PC all put together, I've got plugged into the TV, and everything seems fine. It's been running for about 5 minutes now. Brought us into the BIOS settings. Obviously I have not got Windows 10 installed yet. So all I'm going to do in here, which I've already done, is XMP. I'm going to activate the XMP for the RAM. So the RAM is up to 2133 megahertz. The turbo speed for this CPU is 3.8 megahertz. So basically what the Republic of Gamers motherboard does is it overclocks to the turbo speed, which is totally fine. It's what Intel uses as their turbo boost technology. So yeah, everything's fine there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this. You've not made any changes. I'm now going to switch off the PC just by holding the power button. And I'm going to put the USB stick in for Windows 10. Now looks like it's a USB 3.0 with it being blue. I'll plug that in around the back so it gets the full speed. Okay, so at this point I ran into an issue. Because my solid state drive was brand new, hadn't been used before, hadn't been plugged into a computer system, basically it had no partition on it, it had no allocated space on it. So as you go through the installation setup of Windows 10, it will come up to what drive do you want to use as your primary drive, basically what you want to install Windows 10 on. So I wasn't too sure, I created a volume. Obviously you can't format an SSD, but even if it gives you the option, don't format an SSD because you can do damage apparently. And so I was scratching my head a little bit, and what I found was the way that you boot from the USB stick. So basically, create a new volume, click the new button, and then if you cancel everything, click the little cross in the corner, stop everything, turn the computer off, go back into your BIOS and set your BIOS up to boot automatically from the USB stick and do it that way. Instead of the way I done it was I clicked on the overrides and I just clicked boot from USB stick instead of setting the priorities of what to do on its own. And so if you program your BIOS to boot from the USB stick, automatically when you switch the computer on, this method, believe it or not, actually works, but only after I made a new partition. So I just thought I'd shot this in here now and explain why I'm missing the whole installation. The video overran, and by the time I googled what the hell was going on, it was a learning curve like everything else in life. And so I learned something new about computers. Champion. So I finally got Windows 10 installed, got all the little niggly touches done, and to be honest with you, it may have been a budget build, it may have been to get shot of some of my parts, but I'm really happy on how this has turned out. I quickly done a Firestrike score on it. It came out at 10,400, around about that mark. Like I say, the GTX 980 graphics cards, it's VR ready, it's 4K, it's got HDMI 2.0, so it's 4K at 60 Hz. It's, it's a quad core processor. It's going to be a really good starting block for someone who wants to get into 1080p gaming, get into PC gaming on the set off. Obviously, hopefully I sell it and it pays for future upgrade parts for myself, but we'll wait and see. The cooler, when I quickly ran Firestrike, obviously the GPU, the graphics card was up to full temperature. The CPU, obviously in that hot air environment, it was around about 56 degrees Celsius, the CPU, and I think the GPU touched about 71. So it's within tolerance. The fans are the Quiet Edition fans, so they weren't really audible. They look really good, and so I've enjoyed building this. I hope you've enjoyed watching these videos. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, if you like any of my videos, hit the like button. If you didn't like them, give us a thumbs down, but please leave a comment to why, and don't just be sarcastic. I'm here to entertain you, and that's my aim doing this channel. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will have the opportunity to build another PC for you guys in the future. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.